How can you get more clients for your agency using cold email campaigns, even if your audience is small? Even if you have to cycle through your audience again and again? And how can you do it without changing a thing about your offer? Well, it turns out you only have to change one thing about your emails, and it doesn't even require a lot of work. So I had a client once, let's call him Bob. Bob could have been sending 500 cold emails a day, could have done the best possible content, the most diligent outreach, but his business wouldn't grow. At best, it would break even. Bob had the work ethic. He did the outreach. He worked 60-hour weeks. But why couldn't he get people to buy? Turns out the problem was not in cold email or his other methods of marketing. The problem was foundational. You see, Bob was selling newsletter templates. And the problem is not that nobody wants newsletter templates, and it isn't even that nobody would buy them. And there's one thing that Bob missed. And that is, when you approach people cold, they generally don't trust you. And if they don't trust you, the only way to actually sell to them is by offering a very clear ROI in your offer and make it a no-brainer for them to buy. And a newsletter template hardly does that. A good cold outreach offer either saves your client more money than they pay, or it makes them more money than they pay. If you have that, you can apply the next step in getting more clients. And that will essentially enable you to cycle through your audience again and again and convert them one after the other. Now, this is going to be really crucial for you to understand what we're talking about here. Imagine a flat landscape, and in there are differently shaped holes. Some are circular, so they can fit a sphere. Some are triangular, so they can fit a pyramid. And some are square, so they can fit a cube. The shapes that we're rolling across the landscape are the emails, and the holes are the prospects and their specific needs. And running campaigns means that you are rolling different shapes across that landscape and see where they land. If you roll spheres, they will only go into the right holes. If you roll cubes, they will only go into the square holes. And the great thing is that in reality, there's way more differently shaped holes than just 3. So you may ask yourself now, if the shapes that I'm rolling across the landscape are the emails that I'm sending, and if the prospects are the holes, then do I always have to change the offer every time I run a new email campaign? That wouldn't be great, because then you have to change how your agency operates every time you have to change the offer. And here's the trick. We're not changing the offer. We're changing the angle. For example, I'm selling a coaching offer that teaches people to build client acquisition systems. One of my most successful angles is that it's only you who can build your client acquisition systems. You should not be outsourcing this to an agency. So I am trying to resonate with people who are convinced that they should just outsource this dirty thing called client acquisition. And I'm telling them, listen, no, you can't. You shouldn't. You have to do this yourself. And with some of them, this angle resonates. They think, yeah, I know I should be doing this. I had this in the back of my mind, but now this guy is coming at the right time where I'm ready to listen. And it especially will resonate with those who have been burned by agencies in the past. So those are my round holes, and I'm rolling spheres across the landscape. And so one angle that I'm working on right now, let's say these are the cubes that I'm going to be rolling across this landscape, is to say, I can imagine you're tired of all of these coaching offers and who just promise you the world, but here's exactly what I'm selling you, and I'm going to be super transparent with you. This will resonate with those people who get constantly pitched. They're quite sophisticated buyers. Let's say they've been in 1 or 2 coaching programs, and it's kind of always the same old, same old. There's different types of people, and I'm trying to resonate with them in a different way. The angle gives you permission to pitch. The pitch stays the same. If you are trying to press sphere into a square hole, you will not even be given the permission to pitch them. They will not respond to you or only respond negatively. So the key is to try different angles with the same audience. And that way you can get a lot of clients, even in a small niche, using cold email. So if you have a market of at least 10,000, it shouldn't be below that. But if it's 10,000, you can just cycle through them again and again using this method that I just outlined. Now, you might be worried that, well, what if I keep sending this from always the same email account? Will people not get annoyed that every 6 months that I, the same person, is sending them cold emails and always trying a different kind of angle? Well, no, it won't be a problem, because first of all, people forget pretty instantly when they received an email that didn't resonate with them. And second of all, you can prevent this by creating email accounts under different names. So whatever, you create an email account as Joe Smith. Once the prospect responds to Joe Smith, this email, you can set it up so that it forwards to your actual email. And then once the prospect responds, you with your real name respond to them again. And Joe Smith will never be heard of again. And that's how you can cycle through the same audience using different names of people who approach them. And then once they respond, the email will come from you, from the real you. Now, let me show you this. These are all the people who decided to book a call with me, and many of them became clients worth at least $7,500. They decided to work with me after receiving one of my cold emails. If you want to see how I did that and how you can do this for your SMMA, even if you have a smaller budget, watch this video. I see you in there.